Hey guys, Martin here, bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we're going to be checking out the new Golden Frieza side banner unit from the Broly Anniversary Dokkan Fest banner. He is going to be the God Slot 1 tank for Broly's team, also providing support to super bosses. I couldn't do a showcase for him last night when the private server update first came out because super bosses hadn't actually been added into the game as a category. So, I mean, technically we could have, but we wouldn't be getting his full support, which obviously he gives to himself, so that would make his performance better. So yeah, unfortunately, of course, all in Japanese here, so I'm going to read this off the other screen. His leader skill is Super Bosses or Gifted Warriors 3 key and 130. Leader skill not really important. His super attack is greatly raise attack and defense for 1 turn, does supreme damage and high chance to stun. And then his passive is attack 160 and defense 130%. Performs a crit within the same turn and attack 160 and defense 130 for 3 turns after receiving or evading an attack. So as soon as he gets hit in slot 1, extra attack, extra 130% defense, which will then carry over to his next appearance, and then guaranteed crits. And he can dodge, and that still activates. He has 60% damage reduction within the first turn. Then he gets 50% damage reduction on the next turn, as long as you pick up 3 orbs. And then you have, from the 5th turn, it's 40% and you have to pick up 3 orbs. But he also gets an extra 20% damage reduction when there's another Super Boss's ally on the same turn. So on the first turn, he has 80% damage reduction. And after getting hit once, he's going to get a 130% defensive buff. He also gives Super Bosses 2 key, 60% attack, and 30% defense. So if we take a look at what he's looking like here on the first turn, he's got 200k defense in slot 1. When he gets hit, he's going to get 130%, or dodges, of course. So full dodge build is the way to go for him. When he gets hit or dodges in slot 1, he's going to go up to, what, like almost 500k defense? 400 and something? 450, 470? Then he's going to super and greatly raise his defense. So it goes up by another 50%. And he has 80% damage reduction on the first turn. So that's pretty crazy. Now, obviously here, I could get all his links active. But then obviously we wouldn't actually get to see like his buffs. So if we do this, he does lose a little bit of defense here. He shares Prodigy, Shocking Speed, and Fierce Battle with Broly, which, I mean, to be honest, I think that's perfectly fine, considering what he's on the team to do. So yeah, let's go ahead and see what sort of numbers he does. He's going to get a guaranteed crit, of course, because he's going to dodge or get hit in slot 1. So we take the hit, we get our buff, and then what are we looking at here? 6.8. Now, obviously, that's not like a crazy high number, but for the fact that he is basically, you know, pretty much invincible in slot 1, is supporting the entire team, that's pretty good for the kind of attacks that, like, for his role on the team. He's not here to do damage, but that's still pretty decent. The private server still has the weird issue where the Broly and Gogeta friends don't get the full stats from the hidden potential for some reason. Like, Broly literally has, I think it's like 5,000 defense less than the actual leader friend one, but obviously we're not here to we're not really here to see his performance. I thought we'd jump into the Harudagan red zone stage because I might do videos for the 2 new stages. They're finally on the private server. We did check out the Beerus one very briefly on my stream earlier today, but my JP account is pretty weak. I have, you know, one pretty solid team where most of the units are 55%. So not really well suited to the newest, like, tough red zone stages. Beerus definitely seems to hit incredibly hard. But yeah, still using Cooler on this team. A little bit outdated at this point, but he provides support to Broly. And Frieza, of course. Frieza is on Transformation Boost. Yeah, he is. He's on a ton of categories. Movie Bosses, Full Power, Transformation Boost, Wicked Bloodline, Dragon Ball Seekers, Terrifying Conquerors, Target Goku, Revenge, Inhuman Deeds, Gifted Warriors, Mastered Evolution, Sworn Enemies, and Super Bosses. So he is on a ton of categories, which is very cool. So let's go ahead and we'll do this so that you can get big bad bosses. Broly will finish off you. I mean, we're just going to finish off this phase in general, aren't we, here? So let's go ahead and do this. And then let Broly cook, because this is the leader one, so he has the full stats. So just casual 10 million attack on the first turn. Both of these new units are incredibly impressive. And yeah, Frieza being such a good banner unit, really, really good for Broly's team, because Broly could get caught out in slot 1 in his base, especially if you're running double Brolys on opposite rotations. You transform one, which activates the domain, then it means you can't transform the other one. So ideally, you want to try and get your rotation so you're transforming the Broly, I would say, that's not on the rotation with Golden Frieza, because then on the other rotation, you can just have Golden Frieza in slot 1 to tank, and then Broly, after he's supered, even in base, is still ridiculously strong defensively, right? Because he's getting all that defense on super, he has the guard, so he'll be perfectly fine, like, after attacking, right? So, Golden Frieza are going to be very, very good. Because remember, the worst he drops down to, if you've got a super boss's ally, is 60% damage reduction, which is still very good. So yeah, he's going to be looking quite nice. And when he gets that dodge and everything, he's activating that buff for a couple of turns. So you can see here now, at the start of the second turn, he's up to 350k defense. So with that start of turn, as long as we pick up 3 orbs, on his second turn, obviously he's getting 50%. Then he gets the extra 20 because Broly's on rotation with him, who's another super boss. So as long as he gets 3 orbs, which we can't do, oh my god. Well, he's still going to have what? That means technically he only has 20% damage reduction on this turn, right? So I wonder what's happened. If he gets supered in slot 1, he could actually die here. This is also a really bad situation for Rose, being on turn 7 and then being in slot 3. But obviously at this point in the event, we still take double digits. Now, if that was a super in slot 1, that would be pretty unfortunate. That is a really unfortunate, like, set of orbs to only get, not be able to get 3 orbs on the second turn. That is kind of crazy. He would still have the 20% obviously from Broly being on rotation, so he's going to be tanking normals fine, but that could unironically be a kind of scary situation for him. So alright, so let's just go for, I guess we just go for Hoi first anyway, right, in general. So we'll do that, do this, and then do this, spread it out a little bit. I want to try and keep them alive for as long as possible, just so we can see more of what Frieza is doing. Broly, of course, against an STR enemy, perfectly fine to go in slot 1. I mean, he's got guard anyway, but that means even if we're going to take a super, he's going to be all good. It's not like we're going to get killed, even if we do take a little bit of damage. Hoi getting absolutely wiped out here by Dragon Ball Super Broly. You love to see it. But yeah, Frieza seems very, very good, right? Because even if you want to use him as a 3rd slot floating unit on a super boss's team to just use him as a support, he's still very, very good. And like against AoEs, he's going to have the potential to get that hit or dodge, so he activates that extra part of his passive. The only real difference that you're missing out on is, of course, when he attacks, if he's in slot 3, he won't have that buff, he won't get the guaranteed crit. Then he'll take the first hit in slot 3 and get the big buff. Because that's really what you want, right? His full defensive buff. If he's a slot 3 floating unit, you want him to be tanking as well as possible. And so he can definitely do very well. But I think for Broly's team, with what I've seen, you know, I did the showcase for Broly. This is like literally the 2nd run, technically, that I'm doing using him. He might be dead now, actually. Yeah, he needs that slot 1 unit to go with him. So good old Cooler letting the side down here. But let's jump back in. Alright, so we jump back in here. Really the thing I want to see is the turn where we get Frieza and Cooler, so we can have Frieza in the middle and get all of his links active, which we should be able to do actually straight away on the next turn, because Cooler was on turn 1 and I floated him off here. So we should be able to get... oh no, we're not going to, are we? Because Frieza's buff's going to have worn off. Actually, no. Cooler will come back. Yeah, Cooler will come back on turn 4, which is the next turn. Right, so this is what we wanted. Okay, so Frieza gets hit. He gets his extra attack and defense for 3 turns, which means then if we put him in the middle slot so he can get the extra links from Cooler, he still has that extra attack and defense. That's all I really wanted to see. Because obviously at this point, with what we've seen so far, like, you put him in slot 1, you make sure you get those 3 orbs, and then he's tanking everything. His attack stat is pretty decent, like 6.5 roughly, 6 mil, depending on whether you've got support or not. With the Broly domain active, I think he can get up to like 7 million as well. which is not bad for a slot 1 tank, who's also a support unit, bear in mind. It's not just, like, he's going to be on the team mainly for that defensive role, I think. But the fact that he gives that extra attack, defense, and key to super bosses, he's probably like, I mean, he's a must run on a super boss's team, right? With just all of those things that he's doing. Like, why wouldn't you be running him? So, all right, so let's do, I guess we'll get a super with you so you can at least get a stack in here. I mean, Rose isn't super important for this run specifically. So we'll just go ahead and do this. And then, yeah, next turn we'll have Frieza. He's got his buff. And then obviously Cooler can go in slot 3. And we can see what his maximum attack stat is. That's all I really want to see. Like, it's not super important because you're probably only ever going to be either using him in slot 1 or you could use him as a slot 3 floating unit, right? Because he keeps that defense. It is only for 3 turns though. So I suppose if he's getting hit in slot 3, the first hit he takes is the one that then gives him the defense buff. But then when he comes back around again a few turns later, he has lost that buff. So I feel like it's a waste because even though he's a support, you could use him as a 3rd slot flowing unit, but I genuinely feel like it's a waste just because of how good he is defensively. And Broly, I think, especially in like pre-transformation, definitely could get caught out in slot 1 against some of these tougher bosses. So I think you definitely want Frieza. If he's on the team, he's just going to be there to be like a slot 1 god, right? So, yeah, Broly's not going to get killed by Hoi, surely. Surely not. So let's see how we're looking here. So if we put him in slot 3, we get slot 2. We get every single link active. Jeez, he starts the turn at 477. Because if he was here, he's at 418. So he's getting like 60k defense worth of links from Cooler, which is pretty good. Now remember, on his next turn, after the first one, you need to now, from every turn onwards, you need to be getting 3 orbs in order for him to actually be getting his damage reduction. So on the second turn, it's 50%. We have a super boss's ally on rotation, so he gets the extra 20. So he has 70% damage reduction on this turn. He greatly raises defense on super, so he's going to be over 700k defense here with 70% damage reduction. So he's not getting killed by anything in the game at this point. Sadly, the same couldn't be said for Cooler. But like we said, this is just a for fun rotation, just so we can actually see his maximum attack stat, because Cooler's giving him the links and support as well. So I think, like I say, the highest I've seen is with the domain active from Broly. He gets that little bit of extra juice, so he went up to, I think, like 7 mil, pretty much bang on. So interested to see what he's getting here with those couple of extra links. Because that's the thing, he doesn't link super well with Broly, but it's enough for him to do the job that he's on the team to do, which is just to be the slot 1 tank, right? So let's see. If we can get up to 8 mil, I think that would be pretty good. I don't know if that's too high of an expectation, but let's see. Oh, okay, 9.3. So now the only thing he doesn't carry over for the 3 turns, which he won't get here, is he doesn't get the guaranteed crit. So as you can see, we didn't get the guaranteed crit. Then he gets hit. Now, technically, he has guaranteed crit for the rest of the turn, but if he's not attacking again, it's only the defense that carries over, the attack and defense. But yeah, like I say, it's not something you're going to see. Whew, yeah, okay, we're dead. But we got what we wanted to see. Cooler selling both times. Obviously, when it comes to now that Super Bosses is in the game, I only put Cooler on the team originally for the Broly showcase because Super Bosses wasn't working. So spoiler alert, you don't run Cooler on this team, especially for the difficult events. But that is the INT Golden Frieza banner unit for Broly. Definitely very, very good. Probably the best banner unit in the game, considering his role. Like, you're just going to always want to use him on the team. So definitely very, very good. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.